What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Bitcoin is getting a bit of a push up here, testing a very key level of resistance. Are we finally going to be able to get the bigger push up into our target and see a bigger retracement come in? We're also going to take a look at some of the altcoins, which are showing some green today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and I am still dealing with internet maintenance over here by the studio. So I'm going to drop this market update. I'm hoping they could fix this in the next day or so I could hop back on the live streams. But right now, I'm going to have to drop these market updates for you. But we will be back to the live streams very, very soon. I'm going to start here on the higher time frames. Now, if you guys have been keeping up with the channel, you will know we have been keeping an eye on this macro volume profile. And even last week, taking a look here at our confluence on the value area low and our Fibonacci retracements. As we have our money flow coming up into the green, we are now finally seeing that green dot print here, which we looked at yesterday. But we were looking at this as our first opportunity to potentially put in a higher low on Bitcoin and hopefully get a push into our bigger target to the upside, sitting between about $96,300 and $98,000. You guys can see we do have confluence here with our daily naked points of controls and our Fibonacci retracement. The top of the golden pocket does push into about $98,000. And of course, we do have those two daily naked points of controls, the point of control of our macro range. So this is still going to be the next major target. We have front ran this so much. Is it finally time to come up here and hit it? I'm hoping so. We have the daily money flow coming up. We have the daily green dot. Technically, we are bouncing off an acceptable level here, still remaining within our larger volume profile. And of course, as we hold on top of that value area low, the doorway to that POC is open, and it is the next highest probability magnetic target. And when we take a little bit more of a zoomed out view here, of course, we got the big drop to the downside here on Bitcoin. We started holding on top of very key levels of macro support, and we have been talking about overall the idea of potentially seeing some kind of a bigger retracement come in on Bitcoin, even though the higher time frames are still potentially pointing towards another big capitulation to the downside. There is somewhat of a probability here that we could see that bigger retracement come in, which we've talked about how that could be good for altcoins. And of course, we are seeing some green on the altcoins today, so I'm going to cover those in just a minute. But as we have our daily money flow coming into the green, this could make us anticipate that overall trend continuation to the upside. And again, that next big target will still be sitting between about $95,300 and $98,000. I am going to be looking for potential rejections here, guys. Not only do we have a ton of confluence, but with it being a golden pocket, it is going to be a massive level to look at in order to potentially put in a lower high before finally seeing a bigger capitulation come in. Now, that is not guaranteed. Of course, if we are able to get above this level and flip it to support, we could eventually see the push up to the 786. Once you break above the golden pocket, the next highest probability target is going to be that 786, coming in currently at about 101.7. This is also confluent with our 50-week moving average, and this would be the bullish hope here if we are going to be getting a bigger retracement to come in. These are going to be the next biggest targets to the upside, and if I hide our macro range and I pull up one of our local previous macro volume profiles, this is a range that we've looked at in the past, and we are above that value area low, not only opening the door to that POC, but if we can eventually flip this to support, I will be looking up to the 786. And then eventually, guys, if we are going to see that bigger retracement come in, we flip that 786, we get back above that 50-week moving average, we could see that move push all the way up to about $108,000 to this more local value area high. I am going to be looking at this as our main range until we wind up breaking out of here. Then we can start looking at some of the bigger ranges, which of course is going to be pointing up towards about 115K. Now, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. Of course, the higher time frames do still look bearish. My base case is still that we will likely see some kind of a capitulation come in after putting in a macro lower high. But even if we pull our full Fibonacci retracement from the high to the low, you can see we have 786 confluence up here, even around $110,000. We have the macro golden pocket. These are still big areas of resistance, and there's no guarantee that we even get up to those, which is why I am paying attention to that next big target here at $95,300 to about $98,000. And we'll take it level by level. If we get up here and we get that flip of support, we could start setting our targets here at about 101 to 102K, and then we'll cross that bridge here at that 50-week moving average. And of course, the higher time frame context here, guys, is very similar to 2021, where we get the drop down to key support. We wind up getting some kind of a big retracement to the upside. This was about 46%. So we've been open to this idea, obviously, for quite some time. We've been going sideways essentially since November 2021. 21st. So if we're able to get this move, guys, it would be nice to finally see this retracement come in. And just to give some more simple support down here, guys, obviously we were looking at 786 retracements. We were looking at MPOCs, which were all there, but I've now taken those off the charts. But just from a simple standpoint here, we have the 100-week moving average popping in there, which of course has acted as support before. It's very similar to 2021. We lose that 50-week. We get the bigger drop to the downside. We were able to remain above that 100-week moving average, and then we get the push to the upside to bearishly retest the 50-week. So very, very similar kind of situation here. So just to give kind of some simple support levels that we were hitting, you can look at that 100-week moving average. There's a million other things. I personally was looking at some major naked points of controls that we had down here, but at the end of the day, we knew this was major, major, major support. And although we could still be looking for macro lower highs and lower lows to come, very similar to 2021, with that weekly money flow coming to the downside, which of course is the same situation here on our current price action. Even if we're going to be looking for that, we knew that we could be looking for that potential continuation up for that little retracement to come in. And with that daily money flow coming into the green, it doesn't look too bad in my opinion. So I would love to see this push up and get that push into the point of control / golden pocket / daily MPOC zone. And on top of that, we also have a weekly MPOC sitting at 96.3. So I would say 96.3 is the real big level, but technically it does start here at about 95.3. So just keep this marked off on your chart. This is definitely going to be the next big level to be looking at to the upside. And then as we push in there, we'll kind of identify what's going on here. Are we going to flip it to support and continue up? Are we going to be looking for the shorts for the bigger drop down? And we'll cover that as the price action develops. But when we see this money flow in the red crossing into the green, of course, that is why we were looking at this $89,000 value area low Fibonacci confluence as a potential area to put in a higher low and a higher high. So hopefully we can see this happen, guys. Money flow is pointing in the right direction. And of course, I am still holding the long here. Got some profits locked in. Still got 2,300 unrealized. Just waiting for that next main target to get hit. And as we've talked about, if we're able to get this retracement on Bitcoin, we could potentially see the altcoins follow. So if we take a look here, for example, at Solana, you could also see here the daily money flow in a nice red wave with the continuation to the downside. We have gotten down to the value area low for the full fill, deviation above, back into the range, can't get out. You look for the POC, you lose the POC, you go down to the value area low, and we have now gotten the deviation below the value area low with some higher time frame bullish divergences. You can see it here on the 2-day, lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves. The volume profile tells us that this could be undervalued price, and as long as we're able to get back inside this value area low, that opens up the doorway to the POC, which we have essentially almost come up and tap. And of course, we got inside that value area. It opens the door to that POC, and we are on our way up there right now. So of course, this is going to be the next major target. We're almost already there. If we get a move into this level, guys, of course, we could see some turbulence here, get stuck under the POC for another correction. However, with this money flow crossing into the green, that is going to indicate the overall trend. So even if we do get the pullback here, we could potentially be looking for higher lows and higher highs to form to continue our overall uptrend. Once we flip that point of control, the next major level I'll be looking at is going to be the golden pocket here, sitting between about $168 to $171. This is pulled from pretty much our acceptance into the volume profile. I pulled from the high to the low. That gives us this golden pocket up here, again, between $168 and $172. So even on Solana, we got the money flow headed in the right direction, potentially indicating higher lows and higher highs. So we'll see if we get the rejection. I will be looking at the Fibonacci retracements to look for those higher lows and higher highs, but just overall, this is indicating a potential trend continuation right at the area where we're looking for a potential retracement on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin pushes up, we can expect the altcoins to kind of follow here. Not that I'm a pattern trader, but it does look like you may be forming some kind of a head and shoulders here. And it's not just based off the fact that these could follow Bitcoin, but you also have that money flow headed in the right direction, which is very, very, very nice to see. Even taking a look at something like XRP, daily money flow not looking as clean, but still generally trending to the upside. Now, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, guys. Like I said, my higher time frame context is that Bitcoin will be likely putting in a lower high before another capitulation, but we're kind of seeing the stars align. We've been talking about this for dang near 2 months for the retracement to come in on Bitcoin, hopefully seeing the altcoins follow. On coins like Solana coming to the upside, we take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum also having the money flow in the green, indicating the potential continuation. We could take a look at things like Chainlink, also money flow headed in the right direction. We do have some some of the daily money flow starting to round to the upside. And when we see this, right, it's just I have no option but to say, hey, this does look like we're curling back up. It doesn't necessarily mean new all-time highs, but it could mean that we are going to be looking for that overall continuation, even if it is going to end in lower highs for big drops back to the downside, not only on Bitcoin, but also altcoins. We have to trade the charts that we're given. So the main thing to look at here, guys, is that money flow on the daily. Even on Dogecoin, you can see money flow attempting to curl back up. Things like Fartcoin starting to cross over into the green. Taking a look at Cardano. So, I have to be very transparent here, guys. Although this can indicate continuations of the daily trend, obviously this does not step on the higher time frame context, which is the money flow is coming out, which is a huge indication of even after big retracements, potential lower highs and lower lows to come. If we do wind up seeing that, the next target on Cardano will be about 28 cents. If we take a look here at XRP, we are still within our volume profile, and we are rejecting our major key level that we looked at on the live streams here at the point of control of the range. We simply hopped inside the value area, which opens the door to the POC. That is exactly where we're getting the rejection from. If we could see the money flow continuing into the green here, or at least continue trending up, we could look for the potential push to the upside. But again, I am going to be very cautious here. I'm not saying that this is necessarily going to be some kind of massive alt season, but as we see some of the green pop in here, I just kind of wanted to update you guys and talk about how, this is basically what we've been looking for to see that bigger retracement come in. You're seeing the altcoins react. You're seeing the money flow roll back into the green. But of course, I would not really be getting super excited on anything like XRP until we were able to break out of these major value areas. Even if we got to move back up to the POC, flip this to support, still massive resistance here. I would really need to get above this value area high in order for me to kind of reassess the situation and say, hey, maybe we're going to see a much bigger move to the upside. But again, it's all about the multi-time frame analysis. Now, I will argue this is not looking as good as something like Solana. Solana does look pretty with the bull divs below the value area low, money flow coming up for a continuation. But again, it's if we get up here, we got to really be careful around these next targets to the upside. But I just kind of wanted to jump on here and give you guys an update. We're just still in that same scenario, right? We've been stuck here on the live streams talking about the same dang price action. And it does look like with this money flow coming up, we could see that higher high come in, just like we looked at yesterday. And again, the line in the sand for me locally here on Bitcoin is going to be to flip that 786, which we are attempting to pop above right now, sitting at $91,587. This is also confluent with a daily horizontal, which we just came up to tap. So this is the level that we need to hold. If we could flip this level to support, that is where I'm anticipating that bigger push up towards about $95,300 to $98,000. So doesn't look super bad here. If we get the rejection, guys, it is what it is. We'll have those next levels of support that we're looking at closer to $87,000. But we're here. We're tapping on the level. We talked about this level yesterday. If we could flip this, hopefully we could put that higher high in. Hopefully we could get the altcoins to give us a little bit of a continuation up. I've just been kind of stuck here talking about the same thing over and over. So hopefully we could see this thing finally play out. But if anything changes here, I'll drop some market updates for you guys. And hopefully my internet gets fixed soon, guys. They said it's going to be fixed by tomorrow, but they also said that today. So I'll keep dropping these market updates until I can finally go live again. So hopefully we get that internet back online very soon so I could get back on these dang live streams. It's an absolute nightmare. But if not, I'll keep dropping these market updates for you guys so you still have daily content and you're updated on the key levels so the Mafia can continue to make money trading whether price goes up or down. If you can, please smash that like button. If you appreciate the free content, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And that's all the time I got for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, maxed out.